All right, we're live. This is GoodCast, Season 3, Episode 7, Expenses. We've got a special guest. We've got Heisen Henry with us. We've got Mike Henry. We've got Henry Ermintrout or White Huel. Pick your choice. Henry Ermintrout. But let's get down to the nuts and bolts and the nitty gritty with Better Call Saul. Man, this was an excellent episode. This was more of a Mike and Jimmy episode.
Yeah. So we see Jimmy at the beginning. He's waiting with a group. You know, they're doing community service.
That was right. He was doing community service. Now, was he doing community service because he was court ordered to, or was he just doing it just for the heck of it? It has to be. It's got to be court ordered community service.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be court ordered. That may have been one of the conditions of his suspension.
Yeah, because maybe I thought he was doing it to bring in a little more money because he's out of money. He is completely out of money at this point.
Yeah, and basically he's on garbage detail, which oh my gosh. Some of the stuff he had to pick up.
Now I saw that he had to pick up some dirty tidy whities. I wonder if that was a Easter egg for Walt. I wonder if that's a Walter White reference. I mean, it's got to be. No, because this is a Thomas Schnauz directed episode. So I mean, that's a great Easter egg for him to put in there. But
while he's out there, he's getting he's got his cell phone, even though you're not supposed to have a cell phone. It's supposed to be like a jail. That's what the main guy said. The supervisor.
Yeah, the
said,
supervisor.
Yeah, you're not supposed to have cell phones. It's supposed to be like jail here. It's supposed to be like.
And that's what community service is. It's punishment.
Yeah.
But so we see Jimmy, and he's doing community service, and he's on his phone the whole time. And then at the end, just because like what Heisen Henry said, he only gets 30 minutes out of Jimmy's 4-hour shift.
Yep. So he's having to rush and go, and he has to go change clothes. He has his little handy wipes. He wipes his face with them.
Yeah, that was great. That was so great.
Wipes his hands, does his underarms.
And
then he has to go shoot commercials. He has to go try and make a living with that.
I like what they're doing with Jimmy. Have him shooting commercials, because with Saul, I mean, he is commercial heavy, and I'm glad we're seeing Jimmy, doing commercials.
This is what you might call the beginnings of when Saul he kind of takes on this persona, takes on the Saul Goodman persona a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we see a little bit of Saul coming out in Jimmy, but just with the commercials at this point. But I think hopefully we'll see a 360, and we see Saul Goodman at the season finale of season 3.
That would be cool. And one thing we also see is we see him. He's about to shoot a commercial with a guy in a recliner.
Yeah.
And he says, I can make you a deal. We can make 7 commercials right now for this much money. And the guy decides he only wants to do 1. Because Jimmy's trying to make money. He's trying to make money off this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is his paycheck. I mean, he can't be a lawyer anymore. I think it would have been fun to see him, instead of making commercials, go back to where he was at the nail salon and start working at the nail salon. I think that'd be great. That'd be hilarious.
That would have been funny. Hey, and all the cucumber water you can drink.
Exactly. I mean, if he starts working there, he can get all the cucumber water.
Yeah. I wonder if that stuff. I would still love to try some cucumber water. I would love to try that.
Yeah, that'd be very. I wonder if Ellen had cucumber water.
I don't know, but it sounds like something I would love to try at least once.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that'd be. I think it might be tasty. And so
Yeah.
the furniture guy doesn't want. Oh, speaking of furniture, I think it would have been great to see Jimmy work with Crazy Eight's dad with Tampico Furniture,
Oh
and
yeah,
and,
the
and have him
upholstery.
make no, not the upholstery, not
Oh,
the
the furniture. I'm sorry.
yeah
That's Nacho.
Tampico.
That's Nacho.
It's Nacho, yeah. Work with
Yeah.
Tampico Furniture and make commercials for him because when we see Crazy Eight, Walt talks about the commercial. It would have been really awesome. It
Oh.
would have been really awesome to have the callback to have Jimmy work with Crazy Eight and make that commercial that Crazy Eight and Walt was talking about. Hey, Ellen.
Hey,
Hi guys.
maybe we will see that. Hey, Ellen.
Yeah, so
Hi.
we was
We
talking.
might.
Yeah,
Yeah, we might
to
see
catch
that. We might see the commercial.
Ellen up to speed. I was talking about how Jimmy went to the furniture guy, the
Yeah.
recliner guy, in this episode. I was saying, what if we see Jimmy make the commercial that Crazy Eight and Walt was talking about for Tampico Furniture?
Oh, except the music is definitely Crazy Eight's dad, but maybe that would be interesting.
That'd be a great
Yeah,
callback.
it would. It
I'm
would.
still thinking about that finale prediction, man. We didn't see Chuck this week though.
No, we didn't.
Nope.
So we don't know where he's at. I mean, is he with the doctor or is he still at home moping around or what?
And why did he call the doctor? Because they have proven that he does not have a sensitivity to electricity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thinks he does. And Kim says it. That as far as she's concerned, all they did was tear down a mentally ill man, a sick man.
Yeah. That's what she told Paige. She said that to Paige.
Yes. Who's just bending over backwards, even when I loved Kim being a bitch though.
Mm-hmm.
When the woman is arguing about what Kim clearly knows to be true, and takes out this huge book and goes, well, then you look for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But then apologizes for it.
Now, could this be where Kim breaks? Having her tear down Chuck like that, is this where she breaks and that's why we don't see her anymore in Breaking Bad?
I don't know. I think if we get to the finale, that is possible, or the second to the last episode, maybe that would push her over the brink.
Yeah, because we can tell that she's very stressed out over what she did.
Yeah, and
she's really regretting
the fact that Jimmy has just washed his hands of him and hasn't even tried to get him help, and something happens. There's these. I saw theories: the suicide theory versus the accidental fire theory. I'm thinking, wow, suicide by fire?
I don't think. It's interesting, but I don't think
he's going to.
I don't see that
for help on this, and apparently they alluded to this. This doctor hasn't. This doctor believes it's a psychosomatic illness. That it's in his head, and they brought that up in court.
Yeah.
So is he going to her for that reassurance that he's not crazy, even though, I mean, the proof was right there. He's a smart guy. And if he is that, if he has a problem that severe, Um, plus the fact, what Jimmy just set in motion.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end, we see Jimmy go to his insurance company and just basically broke down and told them about Chuck and his mental illness. And I messaged Henry. I'm like, "Is this going to Is he going to Chuck's insurance because he's unable to practice law?"
It's a good question.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Their parking situation. Anyway.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see if that happens.
Kind of slow burning. There's some interesting stuff going on. But what really made it was just Jimmy walking out of that office door. That scene that lasted no more than 3 or 4 seconds, maybe 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You notice that little smirk.
Up to that point, I actually believed him when he was crying and everything. And then at that point, for a little while, yeah. And then we see that smug look.
We've never seen him cry, ever.
Yeah.
No.
We've never seen him like that.
So I'm thinking,
I actually believe that.
Bob Odenkirk has to do a crying scene. He hasn't had to do that on this show before. And then it turns out it's fake. Everything is fake, but it's fake, real fake, because the actor has to pull off the crying either way. So, yeah, I believed him for a little while, and then when she took out that piece of paper, then it started to hit me. Oh, no, don't write anything down. Oh, no, I don't want to get my brother in trouble bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Chuck. I mean, he's a master at faking, and I guess Jimmy learned from the best.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the point for Kim is that they got through that ordeal the best they could, and yeah, that was really lousy of Chuck all the way through. Although it was kind of lousy for Jimmy and Kim. For Jimmy especially to do what he did, to steal that account for Kim. But that maybe it comes down to, at the end of the day, Jimmy should have been the better man when it came down to it. Because he was justified in defending himself, even though he was in the wrong, I think, with that whole ordeal. But anything going forward that has to do with Chuck's mental health still is on Jimmy. It really, and I think Kim's going to see it that way. Excuse me.
Let's see here.
The opening scene was fantastic. I don't know if you guys talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about the community service scene, and
it really
since you wasn't on,
like something artistic was going on. Like I didn't know where it was going from there, but it was like a work of art. I mean, you could have that photograph from that straight on view. I mean, it is kind of like epic. It's just, I don't know. It's just interesting, kind of like urban art or something. And then when you get it from an angle when the whatever that is van arrives, it doesn't look like anything special at all. It just looks like people waiting.
Yeah, the scenery was great.
It almost like a band posing for an album cover.
Yeah, and I was looking at the faces to see if there's any Easter eggs that we might have recognized in Breaking Bad, but I didn't see anybody. And
Jimmy's getting screwed left and right. He gets the most trash, but he's docked because he was on the phone. Well, I don't care if that guy was just a dick, because if you're picking up the most trash, then be on the phone. And you notice Jimmy doesn't have a headset thing going yet.
No. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. His
He's
Bluetooth.
like
His
this,
Bluetooth.
you know. And but he'll start doing that. I'll always have the earpiece on and
Hmm.
talk anytime. It would have come in handy for his community service.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I like the whole scene where we see Jimmy under the highway and they show the cars going by. That was a great scenery right there.
You know, I guess I didn't take my eyes off him. Because
And Shane also mentioned about the tidy whities he had to pick up, and we thought, was that a reference to Walter? You know,
I didn't get a chance to get into that. There was a headline: "Why does Jimmy wear boxers over briefs?" And I still don't know why.
No, we was talking about when he was doing the community service and he had to pick up a pair of dirty tidy whities.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, but then there's that too. You know, and I love the wet wipe shower in the parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
you know, and that's kind of like Walter White-ish, you know, because Walter White took off his clothes, his good clothes, before he cooked, and you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, it is very similar.
Yeah. But
Let's
Jimmy's
see.
he's really, it's almost like his brain's on overdrive now and it's ticking even faster.
Mhm.
And just his response is just instantaneous. His thought process it's like lightning. And it's like more and more clear that he's talented. He didn't just have a few people skills, you know, and get lucky sometimes. He is on a roll. Just about everything he does, even if he's being rejected, you know, his pitch is just, and whatever they throw at him, he's like improv. You know, well, what kind of business are you in? And, you know, and then, you know, who's your friend? Okay, that's your friend, and the camera lens. And
oh yeah,
he's quick with the ideas. And then when he's sitting there with Kim, when he makes her go out and detailing how they're going to scam this Ken Wins type guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, tick, 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 everything that he had a plan. It was beautiful. And it reflected a real understanding of human nature.
And then Kim, she didn't want to do it. She was like, "Are you serious?" I think she was more concerned that if he would have gotten a disbarment.
There you go.
But let's see here.
Because
she was more concerned.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see the return of Slippin' Jimmy and Slippin' Kimmy.
I thought so too. Victor with the K and Giselle.
But you know, maybe it was still just talk, and I almost expected to see them do it. He goes through that whole thing where he's going to be the drunk that's losing her to this guy and the $5,000 worthless credit card thing. And she's like, that's just talk, right? And then she goes right into her guilt over what they did to Chuck. And he says, you know, not worth it, rear view mirror, done, history. And then she goes something about, you know, land sale in South Africa or something. And Jimmy's like, yeah, he gets all the mining rights.
Yeah, and they didn't do the Slippin' Jimmy yet. I think she was too guilty to do anything like that at this point in time.
I think she feels like she's done her bad deed for the foreseeable future, if not the rest of her life. I don't think she likes what they did to Chuck, but I mean, it had to be done. It had to be done. I mean, it wasn't just a matter of that one incident. If Chuck had been really good brother all along and everything was hunky-dory, and then out of the blue, Jimmy did this, because they stole it from Kim to begin with, didn't they?
Yeah.
They just came along and oh, we're so professional and we've been around since the Stone Age kind of thing, which was kind of nasty. It's legal, but it's nasty. But he was right. What Jimmy argued was right. His brother hates him.
Yeah.
Just doesn't want him to be happy, and he doesn't want him to practice law, and it's true. He was the good brother. He's been taking good care of him. Okay, fine. You're allergic to electricity. I'll bring you ice. I'll bring you newspapers. I'll bring you food. I'll do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
see here. What else?
And bringing him the newspaper, that reminded me of what Ed did for Walter in Granite State. Remember?
Hey,
oh, yeah, bring him the newspaper.
Who was not living, they were living kind of similarly. I mean, Walt had some electricity, but he was, living kind of primitively and isolated and needed somebody to bring him newspapers. Very nice.
And food and stuff. I wonder if we're going to see Ed in Better Call Saul, because we have to see how Saul gets a hold of the disappear guy.
Oh, the vacuum cleaner guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe he does a commercial for him.
I'm not sure that he even met the guy ever until he used him.
I don't know.
And the vacuum cleaner thing, he was like, wow, this is real.
Well, I mean, obviously, Saul had to have made contact with him at some point.
And
for
him to know what he does besides a vacuum cleaner. Maybe Mike or Gus could be one of the channels through the disappear Ed. Let's see here. Oh, Saul Goodman Productions. SaulGoodmanProductions.com is an actual website now.
Oh, cool.
Saul Goodman what?
Productions.com.
Productions.
Oh, Productions.
Yeah, SaulGoodmanProductions.com.
Cool. I'm going to look for that.
It's great. It's Jimmy was dressed in green somewhat throughout this episode. And with all the colors, and they said that green is the symbol for greed, money, growth, and envy in the Breaking Bad theory and Better Call Saul theory.
I was reading a color theory that the cooler colors were people that were doing good things, and the brighter colors, people were up to no good. And I think they were pointing to Nacho's choice of clothing, and probably sometimes Jimmy. So I don't know if green is cool or not. It seems cool to me, but I don't know. I'm not good at that.
I did love to see. I love to see Mike on this episode because he's starting to build the playground, which I believe is the same one he left Kaylee at.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
I know. I was checking the scene to see if anything around it looked recognizable. But what do you make of that whole thing where he gets that woman's story? I'm pretty sure she was the medical examiner in the Law and Order SVU.
Yes, Tamara Tooney. Yes, that's her.
Yeah, for a long time, and I always see her that way. But yeah, she's doing a good job here. And what becomes clear in her story is that her husband isn't necessarily dead. He's missing. He's been missing for he's presumed dead.
Yeah, I told Henry that what is this? This could have been the same guy that was helping helping the guy out for the ice cream truck, the Good Samaritan, and that Hector shot.
That's what my roommate said. But it was supposed to have been 8 years before. Does that fit?
That probably doesn't. I don't think so. It can't.
But he said the same thing. That's funny. But it's right after that phone call. I mean, right after that conversation, he goes to make a phone call, and you think he's going to call somebody, favor, can you look into something? and instead he changes his mind about helping that dweeb.
Yeah,
Price.
Price is back.
Yeah, we
Price
saw
is back.
Price come back. Yeah, we saw the return of Price.
Price. And, Nacho and...
Yeah, so basically Nacho visit Price to get him to get a exact copy of the pill that Hector was taking so he can mess with it. So Nacho's probably going to be the one that causes the stroke for Hector.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna cause something. He'll probably have a heart attack, and then maybe, in the scheme of everything, also throws a clot and has a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what they call the stuff that Hector takes, but it's very similar to nitroglycerin.
Nitroglycerin. I knew it had to be nitroglycerin, and I was surprised that it was a capsule. It's usually for those acute attacks, like you take something right away.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you dissolve it under your tongue. You get it quickly. And Hector swallows a capsule, hasn't even had a chance to get down his throat, and suddenly he's fine. But so it's taken him a while. But anyway, it is nitroglycerin. And so all he has to do is put something else in it, something that will, like speed, would do it.
Mm-hmm.
That was being done.
Or meth.
Because I looked up the name of that drug, and it's very similar to nitroglycerin. It's basically the same thing. It does the same thing for a person's heart.
Mm-hmm.
But having the capsule form obviously makes it easier.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise you get into fake pills with, forged imprints.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I like the whole scene with Nacho and Mike.
Yeah.
At the meetup scene, and then Mike goes to Nacho's van to see if he's been bugged by Gus. That was great.
Because he's like, you don't even know.
Yeah.
The other people involved, and he doesn't tell him.
And what was the first thing he checked? The gas cap.
The gas cap.
That was the first thing he checked.
And gave him advice, you need to switch those pills back.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So there won't be any suspicion, see?
Because, Mike doesn't mind if somebody takes out Hector, but he's being nice enough to give Nacho some tips in doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is Nacho planning on killing Hector, or just incapacitating him?
Oh, I think he's planning on killing him, and he's just not gonna quite get there.
Mm-hmm.
This might not even
because somehow this
domino effect.
Somehow this doesn't.
This is going to have a domino effect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Like I say, somehow it doesn't kill Hector; it only incapacitates him. And renders him mute, renders him to be in a wheelchair. Now, are we going to see this by the end of this season? That's what I'm wondering.
We probably will, because we're getting close to the point where Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul is going to line up.
Yeah, I think if they were going to carry it to next season, they would have to have left us with it in the last episode, finale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, so maybe Hector has a heart attack. You can survive a heart attack. If it's mild, you can go home the same day.
Well, he just about had a heart attack when he heard about what Tuco did, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stressed him out. It gives him chest pains. He takes his nitro.
Mm-hmm.
He feels better. It's just treating symptoms. It's not treating his disease, but...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen with Hector. And will this be where Nacho goes? Maybe he won't even be successful. Maybe this isn't what happens. I mean, because it's so obvious. Something's going to happen to Hector.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like these guys would have it come out of the blue when we weren't seeing it. Because they know what we're like. We're examining everything. We're looking for clues. It's almost too obvious. It's almost like it's not going to be Hector's misfortune. It's going to be Nacho's, and it's going to be permanent.
Yeah, interesting, because we don't see Nacho at all in Breaking Bad. We just hear his name once, and that was it.
Yep.
and Saul was the one
Unless
that said,
maybe Nacho screws up and doesn't switch the pills back. Maybe that's what happens to him.
but something's going to happen, and Gus is going to get
Yeah.
involved. Go ahead, Ellen.
I just had a thought out of the blue.
All right, share it with us.
Kim has major guilt over Chuck. Feels bad for him. What if she tries to talk to Jimmy about trying to help Chuck, or at least go talk to him or whatever, and he refuses, like he will. And she goes over there.
Mm-hmm.
And the house is on fire.
Ooh.
And she tries to save him.
That is interesting. That is great. That's a good idea. It's a good theory.
Yeah.
Because
Very
Kim
interesting theory.
is either alive or not in Breaking Bad. We don't know.
Yeah.
It surprised me to see somebody float the theory that maybe they were still together through Breaking Bad, because it wasn't important for us to know about Jimmy's love life, Saul's love life, or lack thereof.
Well, I don't think they're together in Breaking Bad because he hit on Francesca that one time.
Yeah, but doesn't mean they were happy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I tend to doubt it because
Another thing we see on this episode, he's offering to shoot a commercial for a music store, and
the music store.
These comedians, the Sklar brothers, they're twins. They're the guys who manage the store. He offers to shoot their commercials for them, and they're basically he opts to do it for free.
Yep, like a free sample.
And then the female producer
tries
to give
big old things.
For
the Vermedo's pest.
And Shane and I were thinking that's the same store where
Skinny
Pete.
Wait, Domino's Pest what?
You know when Skinny Pete
remember
and
the
Badger?
They got the big. Badger bought those big
the music store. Oh yeah.
Yeah, those big roadie boxes. Those rolling crates.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder. Oh wow. It was like ABC.
That's the same music store.
Or something.
I'm wondering if that was the same music store.
What was the music store name?
ABQ.
Out of Tune, I think.
I think it was.
It was the same because I saw the sign. When they did the outside shot with Jimmy sitting on the concrete because he was depressed and he didn't have any money. Had on their ABQ tunes.
In Tune.
Yeah.
Tunes, yeah. Albuquerque tunes.
Because I saw In Tune elsewhere. They it was a big storefront. So, and then like the purposefully messed up sign where trades welcome or something, and it was apostrophe S, which is inappropriate. And I love that they went to the trouble to make a sign that was, anyway.
So the female producer offers,
because he's hoping that it'll actually get them business and they'll buy the rest of it. He wants to do this fast.
Yeah. So he did it for free.
Yeah, she offers to give him her cut.
I kind of figured she was going to do that. Just by the way she was acting, that she was going to try and give her his money back, but he refused.
She was very sweet.
Let's see here.
She was.
I think that's pretty much it on the major points of this. Now they're going to take a week off, and they won't be back until the 10th.
Yeah.
Well, not until the 10th, the 6th, the 5th.
The show will be back on the 5th, and then we'll be back on the 10th.
Oh, they're taking a week off?
Yeah, for Memorial Day.
Oh.
But they are going to do a catch-up marathon
on Monday they're going to do a catch-up marathon of season 3.
Yeah.
All day on AMC.
So all I've got is my Fargo, which last week Better Call Saul totally blew Fargo out of the water. It was awesome. And then this week, Fargo was really damn good, very close. Scales are like this.
Mm-hmm.
But just for that look at the end, just for what Jimmy did at the end,
Mm-hmm.
because now, I always get Howard. Is that his name?
Yeah, Howard Hamlin.
I don't know why that's so difficult for me to remember. Howard is going to have a talk with Jimmy about his, at the very least, there's going to be a huge increase in his malpractice insurance, or the whole firm. It might affect the entire firm.
Yeah.
Because, or they might refuse to cover them altogether and send them scrambling.
Well, for Slip, the plot, the summary goes, Jimmy is pushed to desperate measures. Nacho picks up a skill. Mike explores an alliance, and Kim stands up to Hamlin. And in the preview that I saw, we see Hamlin and Kim for the very first time ever since after the whole court. And Howard is in a restaurant along with Kim and the people from Mesa Verde, and Howard walks up to her.
Oh.
So
yeah, just kind of threatening by talking to her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Howard at the was very concerned about the PR matter about this, and we never see Hamlin McGill in Breaking Bad. So could they be defunct? I mean, do they close its doors because of this?
Yeah, I mean, because even if Chuck stops practicing altogether, he's done. Not a partner, not practicing. Like she indicated to Jimmy, if something comes up from the past, that insurance. I mean, you need that insurance as long as you have past clients and past cases. It's not just about it's not done once the case is closed necessarily.
Yeah.
So that could affect the entire firm. It could be, it just cost prohibitive.
And as of right now, Chuck was actually working at Hamlin McGill in season 2.
Well,
as a part of the whole.
Still does.
Yeah. He's still on the payroll. So, the very possible. Any predictions for the next episode?
I think.
And the next
Howard's
episode is Slip.
Definitely gonna hear about the insurance company's concerns, and then that brings you to the question: the bar itself. After those, I mean, they did they ruled in Chuck's favor for the fact that Jimmy admitted that he broke down the door and his behavior was unacceptable, and he destroyed an item of personal property or whatever. But I mean, as far as the rest of it, Chuck lost. They're like, yeah, your brother lost his temper, and we can see why. So we're suspending him for a year. We're not granting your request that he be disbarred. You're batshit crazy. And I think his doctor is going to confirm that, and he's going to get even kicked around even more emotionally because of what Jimmy just did. And I keep seeing that lantern sitting on those newspapers.
Yeah, I mean that's major foreshadowing right there, and especially what Jimmy told Chuck right before he got arrested by the cops, says that he's going to die alone in the hospital bed. That whole sequence of events. I mean that right there is
that's major foreshadowing
right there too.
Very much so.
Goes to the hospital and finally succumbs there because burn victims can survive for a while and then die.
Or you say he might be a burn victim. What if the house does burn down, but he gets out in time, and he succumbs to suffocation through the smoke and everything at the hospital.
Mhm.
Well, if he made it out, then he wouldn't have. You would succumb to the fumes and the gases and everything before you ever got burned.
Mhm.
So if he made it out, he could have a little lung damage, but really the big deal would be is if he were a victim of serious burns,
Mhm.
because you can linger for months that way, but it's poisonous to your system.
Yeah.
It's toxic, so you get septic, and it can just take your whole system down, one organ at a time.
Mhm.
So it could be something like that, where he lingers for a while and then dies alone.
Mhm. Yeah. I think Chuck is going to die. I really do. I think he might die. That's my big
Which
prediction for the.
sucks because, McKean's a great actor.
Yeah.
It's to hate Chuck,
Hmm.
but what did they say about Gus? He had to go.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, Chuck has to go.
Henry, what's your predictions for the next episode and throughout the final three, actually, because where we're getting to the season finale.
Prediction.
I think we are
It's
going
so
to
hard.
see.
Yeah, I love
I think
predictions.
we might see a resolution of all this. I mean, we might see a resolution of the whole, where Jimmy had to go to
Hmm.
maybe get Chuck's policy canceled. Maybe that's going to happen. I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, you never know. They could
Since-
fast forward a year out of the
Mhm.
blue,
Yeah.
and Jimmy's
They
practicing law
could.
again, but that he likes the Saul Goodman thing, and
I think we're going to wait until season 4
but no,
before Jimmy practices law again.
yeah, no, because then
Mhm.
he's got to get the strip mall office instead of the nice office with Kim. So,
Hmm.
Yep.
or maybe I don't know. It's so hard to predict. It's really hard to predict. Like what you had said. Oh yeah, we're gonna see Lydia.
Yeah. Don't
Like
forget, Lydia's
Yeah.
still drifting around. We may see her again. We might see
Yeah.
her this season
Hopefully,
again.
if not,
Yeah.
hopefully it should be a major role in season 4.
Mhm. That'd be cool.
And I'm bummed to hear that. I mean, I that Tuco is gonna have more time. To me, it seems like we can't write him in.
Hmm.
Maybe they can't get. Oh my God, I forgot his name. So bad.
Raymond Cruz.
Thank you.
Raymond Cruz. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they can't get him.
Well, he's
And if
still
they don't have
shooting
him,
Major Crimes. He's on Major Crimes also.
because
Hmm.
I want Gonzo. I want some Gonzo action. I want Jesus to get some work out of this.
Yeah, we want Jesus Jr.
Yeah.
to
No
come back.
dose.
Yeah.
No dose in Gonzo.
We
Gonzo, no dose.
so maybe we could just see Tuco's crew, taking care of
Mhm.
business while Tuco's,
Yeah.
in prison. That would be cool.
Hmm. And plus, we saw the laundromat. The laundromat. So
Mhm.
that might come into play again by this season, by the end of this season.
Yep. Yep.
And
We
they're
might,
not
we
gonna
might.
have Gail.
Oh, that'd be great if we see Gail.
Ooh.
No, we're not. They're not gonna have Gail. I
You don't think so?
I don't think. Because well, actually, because he's there when the lab is being set up.
Hmm.
Oh, maybe that. They did a flashback in his final episode. They did a flashback in the beginning to. So yeah,
Hmm.
maybe he is there all along.
But who's to say Gus can't call him up and say, "Hey, I've got a plan," and then just be
Mhm.
like that and continue on with whatever he's doing.
I mean, how long would it take to get as far as creating that space?
Hmm.
With the cover of the giant washer in front of it or dryer or
Hmm.
whatever it was.
Mhm.
And then it's just a matter of all the equipment. And when that equipment is there coming in, Gail's there to receive it all.
Mm-hmm.
He's opening the boxes.
Yep.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it would. I mean, they surprised us with Lydia this season. And
I know. Yeah.
Never in a million years I was expecting Lydia to show up.
Yeah, especially interacting with Gus. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and this is what I like about Better Call Saul. All these dead characters from Breaking Bad are back and interacting with each other that we haven't seen in Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We've got Chuck and Mike interacting together. We've got Gus and Lydia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's right. They didn't work together. They just alluded to the fact that they had before. The Czech Republic was their, next move.
Yeah.
That has to be the beginning stages of the Czech Republic.
Mm-hmm. The whole magical thing.
Well, I mean, they gotta get their lab up and running,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
see, and they have their distribution network already. We don't know what Lydia might be doing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
If she's just joining him, or if they've already been doing some stuff. And where the hell is Gus getting his map?
Yeah.
It's not Jesse.
Not yet.
Jesse.
I think season 4 is going to be. If I had to predict what's going to happen, season 4 is going to be Breaking Bad heavy, because they're almost there to that point. And I think we might see Walt in season 4, if not season 5.
They're years away. Because
what's the 2008? Yeah, but what's the timeline right now? What year are they in now?
I think 2003 at the latest.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Scotch said, if you did the math, 2001, but maybe Howard just called it a 35-year-old Scotch instead of a 37-year-old Scotch because it just sounds, almost petty.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you owe me $2.02.
And who's to say Howard didn't already have the
You owe me
Scotch?
$2. It's a 35-year-old Scotch.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you just wait. It's 30 years old. It's 35 old. It's 40.
Mm-hmm.
But somewhere between 2001 and 2003.
Yeah.
Timeline issues exist. They've had to do some stuff. I think I mentioned it last week. Some chain restaurant they mentioned that they showed. I forget what it was, but they've changed their whole look and logo. So they had the old one. No, they filmed the new one.
Mm-hmm.
They had to go in and edit it and change it to the old one.
Wow, I got to catch up on my Insider podcast for Better Call Saul, because those are amazing.
Nobody's got a smartphone yet. Start looking for the smartphones, and we'll know what.
When did the smartphone came out? 2007.
Trying to think. I don't know. I don't have my computer running. First smartphone. Can't type release date. No, okay. There was a prototype in 1992. Oh God, I'm not gonna get a straight answer here.
Let's see here.
I am just not gonna get a straight answer. Went from PDAs to
2003, Motorola launched the first smartphone. In early
2003. So
in early 2007, Apple did the iPhone.
So that was the first one.
Let's see here.
So really, if it is in 2003, then they could basically have one of the characters have a smartphone at least.
Mm-hmm.
If Better
Well,
Call
that would
Saul,
have-
if
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But if
it's set
they
in
want to do the
2003, they
iPhone,
could have.
if they want to do the
Well,
iPhone, it's
even
got to be 2007.
in Breaking Bad,
Mhm.
most people are still using their flip phones.
No, that's because the flip phones, for that, it's easy to discard. They can
Mhm.
break them and
Well,
discard them.
yeah, even people who like innocently use phones, like Skylar, would have a flip phone because that somebody like Skylar,
Mhm.
she would need all the blah 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 blah. She wouldn't go buy an iPhone. They couldn't afford it.
Mhm.
People just got used to the flip phones, and they're small, and it was a hard adjustment for people to do the smartphones because they don't close up.
Mhm.
They're you guys know what it's like.
Yeah, I mean this. I have a smartphone, and this,
Oh, yeah, I've
it's
got one
it's
too.
just like all that is.
One tap of the
Everything's
button.
a smartphone, right?
I had a flip phone at one time.
Oh, I do too.
I had a flip
I think
phone, and now I have
probably
this. So.
I think probably around 2010. That's when everybody started having them smartphones.
I know in 2010, my daughter it was a flip phone, but it had a keyboard.
Oh yeah, you can turn it sideways and flip it up like that.
Had an actual keyboard with buttons.
Yeah, I had one of those too.
And it had apps and access to the internet, like it had the internet browser and things like that. So it was kind of a hybrid flip smartphone.
Yeah, I had one of those. Those are fun. But let's see here. Going back to Better Call Saul, I think that's pretty much it for this episode.
Yeah,
this has been the strongest season. Seasons.
It has. It has.
Yeah,
it's been great.
I'm impressed. I can't wait to watch everything come down after what Jimmy did. And I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him, but I'm rooting for him because Chuck has been kicking him around badly. And and it's funny because in Fargo right now it's a brotherly feud. Two brothers at each other's throats, played by the same guy.
Oh,
Ewan
cool.
McGregor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the Ewan McGregor character. Okay, or characters, I should say.
Yep, he's playing brothers, and if you didn't know it, you might not know it. They are so different looking. It's great stuff. Something for you guys to do Monday night. Find a way to watch Fargo.
I have to see season 1 and 2. What
yeah.
Is that on Netflix yet?
Have you guys heard of Kodi? Kodi?
No.
I don't know if you're both operating on computers or what, but Kodi has its ways and means, and I have to get off my butt and set it up right because you won't be missing out. But I think you got a couple seasons on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix. Maybe not. Anyway. 2 weeks, huh?
So no show next week.
Damn.
I know. I cannot wait. And it's the final 3 too coming up.
Yep.
Slip, Fall, and Lantern.
Slip, Fall, and Lantern. That Lantern, like you said, is going to play a big role.
It is.
Because that photo with the lantern on top of the newspapers. I mean, we saw that a lot. We saw the lantern itself. We saw the photo, and we saw the photo again while Jimmy was talking in court. So that's going to be a huge role. But all right, on that,
the fact that we see Jimmy looking. I mean, not Jimmy, Chuck. Sitting in the chair, but he looks like he's dead or looks like a corpse.
He died.
Also,
very pale. So Chuck is going to die this season, unfortunately, because Man, I like Michael McKean as Chuck. He is.
Or
You
it's
love
too
to hate him.
obvious. Or it's too obvious. We'll see.
You think Chuck's going to stick around for another season?
It would be great if he did, but I think his death. I think they kind of need him to die to really set off things with Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is what knocks Kim out of the picture for good. Maybe this just hardens because Jimmy is getting harder and harder. His heart is freezing up, little by little, more and more all the time, to the point where we meet him in Saul, where he basically doesn't even have one. So he's got to go at some point to change the trajectory. But then, what are they going to do? I mean, is it going to be? Say they fast forward a year and it's 2004. We have 4 years of Saul, getting meth heads and public urinators, masturbators, their day in court.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. The Chuck thing seems really obvious, but I don't know. I'm kind of attached to the idea.
He goes from being a criminal lawyer to being a criminal lawyer.
And then the thing about Tio, that maybe this pill thing is going to mess him up. Maybe that's too obvious.
Yeah.
So, because remember in Breaking Bad, the idea of Walt poisoning Brock was too obvious. And then he convinces us when Jesse goes to shoot him in the head and doesn't. He convinces him, I don't do that. Who does that? Gus does that.
Yeah.
And then we're convinced. And then we find out it's Lily of the Valley. It's not Ricin. And oh, wow, he didn't do it. And then they're at the very end of the episode. Oh, yeah, by the way, he did. So that just to mess with it, making sure that if something's too obvious, they're at least going to play with us on it. So we'll see.
And plus, Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould really made it clear that they really love Jimmy. And they really like writing for Jimmy. And they don't want to do Saul quite yet, but they have to. They have to do Saul.
Baby steps, because Vince really wanted to advance Walt's demise. And they had to pull him back, and the scene with Jane was one of those examples. He was supposed to be just straight on, I'm overdosing you, I'm injecting you with enough heroin to kill you because I want you out of the picture. And they were like, no. Too much, too fast. I think he learned from that. And I think, but this will precipitate something. Maybe it'll strain things going forward. I don't know what'll happen.
Yeah. But like I said, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. Expenses, really good, strong season so far. I mean, even season 2 and 1 has been really good. I think what they did was learn from their mistakes from Breaking Bad and applied it to Better Call Saul and said, well, we was going to try this, but let's try and advance the story further, like you said. But so in 2 weeks, June 10th, we'll do Slip. So, very vague title. So, who's going to slip? Is somebody getting a slip?
Jimmy slipped last week when he...
Slipping Jimmy? We're going to see Slipping Jimmy?
Maybe Jimmy gets confronted about it. I didn't mean to say it. It just slipped out. Or, I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, all right. See you in 2 weeks. Good night.
All right, guys. Take care of yourselves.